Welcome to the Cherie Show. It is Monday morning in Murphy, North Carolina, and it is wet. It is wet, wet, wet. And I drug in this board. Now, you're not wet. Your hair didn't get wet. Nothing got wet. Did you just run in here? No umbrella.
No.
No umbrella. It has been raining all night long. And I can tell you, I feel like I've been in North Carolina long enough to set up residency.
It's true Smoky Mountains, isn't it?
It is.
Smoke over the mountains.
It is. Now, we saw a little community yesterday called Peachtree. And we visited our favorite place, Dollar General. And
Which is between what and what?
It's kind of between Brasstown and Andrews.
It's somewhere between. What did you say?
Brasstown and Andrews.
I wonder how many people knows where Brasstown is.
I don't know, but it's easy to find.
What's the population of Brasstown?
600, I believe. 600 of the nicest folks. And we spent Saturday evening with a bunch of them.
600 folks and one possum.
That's right. And that possum is the star of the show,
That's
always.
Right. Yeah.
Now, have you ever eaten possum? Because you're from a family that
I have never.
Very country cooking. I would say your grandmother has cooked possum before. And your great-grandmother certainly did.
Yeah, she probably did, but I don't think Grandma did.
Well, my granny did, and she would catch a possum, fatten it up with corn for about 6 weeks, and then that would be Sunday dinner with sweet potatoes. And she said, well, it's just like a big old pork roast with dressing and sweet potatoes. And I said, okay, because I've been to the possum drop, and I've seen those critters running around. I don't know that I want that for supper.
Have you ever ate rabbit or squirrel?
I have. Now,
well, you're more country than I am. I've never.
Well, it was against my wanting to. My Granny Dobbs cooked fried rabbit. And this is what's so bad, y'all. Grandpa Dobbs raised rabbits, and he had cages and cages and cages. Well, you know how kids are. We love animals, and so Grandpa takes us out there, and we play with the little rabbits, and then we go in the house, and Granny has dinner cooked. And it's Sunday afternoon, and we've got this big old platter of the best-looking fried chicken, we thought, and biscuits and gravy, and we just thought, man, this is the best stuff we ever ate. And when we got through, and Grandma said, help me get that stuff up and take them rabbit bones out to the dog. And I said, do what? I'd have a stroke. But it was good. It was good. Squirrel dumplings, because I knew when I was eating, I just couldn't do it. Have you never eaten squirrel dumplings?
No.
Well, Loretta Lynn would be ashamed of you because Patsy Cline taught her that they're really, really good.
Well, if Loretta Lynn would fix me some, I would probably try it.
And if she used Crisco, yeah, if she used her Crisco, you would love it. I am not a big fan of squirrel. And you know, Lonnie took Nick squirrel hunting one day, and they killed him about 6, and they cleaned them, and they put them in my freezer. And I opened the freezer, and I said, oh, what is this? And I said, get it out of here. So no, I wasn't. Now, I'll cook deer. I'll cook moose. I don't think I've ever cooked turtle stew, but I've had it.
Well, I've not had that either, but I tell you, it could not smell no worse than your scallops did that day. Wow.
We were talking about this yesterday. One of my friends from Alaska, 8 years ago yesterday, I was in Alaska. And he pulled up our buddy Brian Zach, and Brian was halibut fishing. And I said, man.
I pulled up her buddy Brian Zach on
Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook.
She kind of leaves you hanging, making you scratch your head wondering, now what?
Where did I pull him up? We were fishing, and we just kind of reeled him in. But it was so funny because Brian was halibut fishing on Saturday. Well, then I sent him a message, and I said, I want some of those scallops. And Freddy goes, no, you don't either. When I cooked him, he lay on the couch with his head down in the pillow with his head covered up saying, get that nastiness out of this house.
I won't be mean about it. It was awful.
It was awful. I loved them. And y'all, if you've ever gone in a restaurant and ordered scallops, they're like this. But when you go to Alaska, they're like this. And they look like oh man, they're just awesome. They're so good. But they do have a little strong odor when they're cooking. So, but nothing like possum. So
I didn't even try one.
No, you didn't.
No,
No.
The smell was so bad. But
No.
I did try, what was that I tried? Kathy and Angela had me try?
That raw stuff. Sushi.
Yeah.
Sushi.
Oh, God.
Y'all
Ugh.
would have loved it. Now, I'm telling you, we're sitting in a restaurant. And, if you're in a restaurant and you take a bite of something, people want you to go, that's so good. Freddie goes, blah, and spits it out everywhere.
It came out a lot faster than it went in, I'll tell you that.
It was so funny. And they're going, isn't that good? And he's going, no, that is disgusting. That is disgusting. So sushi was not your thing.
Yeah, and Kathy was saying, put the whole thing in, don't just buy part of it. Put the whole, so I did. It didn't look good.
But it did come out fast.
They're not pretty just to look at. So I guess I was trying to hurry where I wouldn't have to look at it. But then when my taste buds caught hold, wow.
You didn't like it. Well, in the near future, guess what we're going to get to eat? Crocodile, alligator, turtle, moose.
You pulled that on me one time.
I did. We took him to the Scott Hogs
for the
and
people that like that, it's good, but it's not for me.
If you like reptiles and other weird, strange bear there was fish there was moose there, deer. I can't think of all the things, but I fixed him this big platter, and he'd been sick a week, a solid week, just sick. He'd been sick. And I walk in the motorhome with this platter, and he takes about 2 bites, and he's like, "Fuck, I can't do this." So you're not a big wild boar eating. I'm trying to think. There was
and I asked, "What is this?" And she proceeds to tell me what it is, not telling me as she's handing it to me.
It was funny.
Did you try any of it?
Because I knew what it was.
Well,
no.
You'll get paid back one of these days.
Well, I made spaghetti with 600 pounds of moose. And my daughter Angela will tell you, she doesn't eat moose, she doesn't eat deer, she doesn't eat any of that stuff, because really and truly, when they were little kids, we didn't have a whole lot of money, but we had a lot of deer in the freezer. So I always made spaghetti. And now, if I say, "Angela, come over and eat, I'm making spaghetti," and she'll say, "Have you been to the grocery store lately?" And I said, "Yeah, why?" "Did you buy a ground chuck?" "Yeah, why?" Just checking, because she hated the idea that I cooked with moose. Moose is lean, it's mean, and it is good. It is really, really good. Now, if you don't know how to cook it, and you kind of get that wild taste in there, some people go, "Ugh," but if you do it right, it's really, really good. And these guys over here at Scott Hogs a Day do it right. They do a good job. So maybe this year you'll taste some of it. Maybe not. Now listen to this. Now this is coming from a man who will eat potted meat. Have y'all ever looked at the contents of potted meat? Do you know what is in a can of potted meat? Are you kidding me? He spreads that stuff on bread and goes, "Don't you want one?" And I'm going, "No, I don't."
It's good.
It's good. What you reckon's in that can of potted meat?
Well, I don't know. But I every once in a while, I even can eat buying a sausage.
No. I tried that.
It's got a lot of cholesterol in it, so I try not to eat a lot of it. But every once in a while, I'll eat a can of it. But what they call it, vaina. That's not actually how I say it. You want to know how I say it?
How you say it?
Vainer.
Oh, Lord.
Because if you're looking at me, you're looking at country.
I can't believe you've never eaten possum. Well, we have to talk about a man that was at the Brasstown event, and this whole segment is leading up to Clay's Corner. Clay is a guy who cares about his community, and we were at the Brasstown Community Civic Center with the Barker brothers on Saturday night, and we found out that looks like every 2 weeks, they have concerts there. The Barker brothers were Saturday night, and on June the 23rd, Cornbread Ted will be there. On the 14th, FC and Randall Collins will be there. July 28th, Georgia Highlanders. August 11th, Just Us. And August 25th, Lone Mountain Band. And this is to raise money for this community center. Now, let me tell you about it. It's only $5. It's clean. It's got clean restrooms. It's got a great snack bar. It's $5. And it gives back to this community center. And it says the Community Civic Center is located in Clay County, North Carolina. And Brasstown is a community of 600 people. And these people built this to give back to the community. And I love that about them. And it's so clean and so neat and so tidy.
Yeah.
And they were nice enough to invite us to hang out with them. And we did. And we loved it. So, nice folks.
And for those of you that came out Saturday night, thanks for supporting the Barker brothers,
Right.
and also purchasing their CDs. That helps them get to the next venue.
That's right. Now let me see if I know how to say this word. It's at 255 Sedawig Road. Is that a road? Yay! I got it. I'm not really good with names. I don't know. But we are learning about the area, and we truly have been here long enough this week to kind of get North Carolina occupancy. But we headed to Andrews to find one of my very favorite places. And because I've been here, just, I come to work and then I go back. I come to work and I go back. Don't have a lot of time to spend. I didn't know that Andrews had lost a treasure, in my opinion. I always went to the KFC in Andrews. So I said, Freddy, let's go right up here to KFC. I didn't know they'd moved down here and have a big, nice new building now. So I was like, duh, where is KFC? Well, dummy, you left it. It's down there in Murphy. So, but we went to downtown Andrews. Beautiful.
I'd never been there before.
Never been there before. Beautiful, beautiful little town. And there's a white house sitting right on the corner. If you own that house, call me. I bet we could do a business venture there. I just love it. I just love it. It would be a neat bed and breakfast. It would be a neat old-fashioned restaurant where you bring the tables full of food. Would that not be cool?
Yeah.
We would not be serving squirrel dumplings, though, I'm telling you. But it is a neat, neat little town, so it was fun. And to the folks at the Dollar General in Peachtree, that was we went there and picked up water and a couple other things I had to have. But it's neat that when you're in these little local communities, there's the Dollar General.
That was Andrews.
Oh, was it? Okay, well, we were right on the outskirts of Andrews. Yeah. I'm sorry. But
I believe Peachtree does have a Dollar General.
I believe it does. Yeah. Let me tell you about the Dollar General. If they don't get off their duff and get their brain going, they're going to miss an awesome opportunity to have the Dollar Store as their theme song. Because at the Brasstown Community Center on Saturday night, when the Barker brothers did the Dollar Store, people went crazy. They loved it. And what did Jeremy say that he was singing, and one guy on the front row got so tickled. Jeremy was looking at the guy getting tickled and having a hard time keeping his thing going with the music. But it's a great song. And it gets in your head. And every time you enter the Dollar General, if you heard that tune in your head, you'd shop there more often. What is wrong with the marketing department at Dollar General?
I don't know what's wrong with you. I guess because people like you is plugging them, giving them a plug,
Well, we want them to book those Barker brothers to be your American spokespeople. So, there you go. We saw Saturday night what that song does, written by a 3rd grader and a 5th grader.
Yeah.
What are they now?
I don't know.
College junior?
Yeah.
And a college freshman. Blows my mind. And
the little banjo player who used to not be as
big as his
the
banjo
is just graduated high school.
He did. And, we can't say enough about Wesley, because when Wesley steps up to do Amazing Grace, people absolutely are mesmerized. It is beautiful. It is beautiful.
And you know what? Wesley come up to me Saturday night, and I asked him if he had ever sang with them before. Did you know that?
No.
Because I heard him singing with one of the songs they did, and I'd never heard him before, and he said that he had.
No.
But that was the first time I'd ever heard him sing. Yeah,
and we're going to say, we were working their table and selling their CDs, and I have cataracts. That means that as far as the stage was, I told him, I said, I can't even tell who's up on stage tonight. Some nights it doesn't affect it so bad. Saturday night, you could have told me Minnie Pearl and Grandpa Jones were up there, and I would have believed you, because I couldn't tell.
Well, I think part of it's...
old age?
Yeah. I think part of it's sugar, because sometimes mine does that, and I'm not old enough to have cataracts. Ask your doctor.
I know. The doctor looked at me and said, "You're awful young to have cataracts." I said, "I know." Well, somebody is not young today. Somebody officially turns 38, and we have to say a big, big happy birthday to my beautiful daughter, Dawn. Her name is Cherie Dawn because she was born at 6:11 a.m. and I thank God every day she was born in the morning, because had she been born in the evening,
get this, listen to this,
her name would have been Shawnee Dusk. She would have hated me forever.
Shawnee.
She loves. Get
on out here, Shawnee.
She loves her name, and it's so funny. About 20 years ago.
How do you spell Shawnee?
S-A-J-W-N-E-E. Did you not study the Indians in school?
Well, I guess not that particular word I did.
Well, that was what it was all about. Dusk and dawn. Thank you, Lord, for having this 10-pound baby delivered at dawn, because her name is Cherokee Dawn. So she has Cherokee heritage, and her grandfather had just passed away the week before she was born. It all has a reason that I did such a crazy name, and we thought forever she was the only Cherokee Dawn in the world. She has now found 9 more, and she's like, how old are you? I was a Cherokee Dawn before you were, but happy birthday to her. Good girl.
Well, she's definitely a Dawn, not a Shawnee.
Yeah, she's a Dawn. She's a Dawn. And we want to say good morning to our buddy Lois Chastain. Yep. When we go down Boardtown Road, we always blow the horn at several houses, and Miss Lois is one of those, and she says, I always sleep better if I know y'all have been out and about doing what you do. And also, we want to say good morning to Don Coker, because Don Coker, small world, is about to get a daughter-in-law who's related to
Barbara Shattuck, who is a lady that I used to work with back in the 90s at the Mental Health Center. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that is just weird, because Dawn at 11 o'clock last night is texting us and said, do you know so-and-so? And I went there. I said, Freddie, do you know? Yeah, I worked with her. How do you know her? Well, I don't know her, but Dawn's getting, and it's weird, because we know this one and this one and this one. You put them together, and all of a sudden you got soup. So it's a small world. Yeah. It's a small world.
And Don will be live streaming this program.
This morning, he
will. Cherokee County, Georgia. In Holly
Hickory
Springs.
Flat? Oh, Holly Springs. Yeah. Okay. All right. And to all you folks who stream us, thank you very, very much. It's funny because some people Saturday night said, now, how do I get you? I don't have Blue Ridge Mountain EMC. I keep telling y'all, call me, and I will find you a house where you have Blue Ridge Mountain EMC. All you have to do is load your clothes and pack, and we'll get you a loan and get it approved, and then we'll move you, and then you'll have Blue Ridge Mountain EMC.
Yeah, and, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I hear sirens.
I hear 911.
Yeah,
911.
and Don also told me that he was not real big on bluegrass music, as you was not a few years ago, until you hear the Marker Brothers, and they just reel you right in.
Yeah, if you told me I had to go to a bluegrass concert 8 years ago, I'd be going, do what? I don't know. But now I'm really, really enjoying it. So it's kind of who introduces you to it, I think. So. Yeah. But Don Coker, the Barker Brothers, introduced him, and he loves it now. So, can we take a break and go to?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. What now?
I want us to announce the big news.
Oh! Well, that's where we're going to. Okay.
All right.
We have tried for years to get the Bridgmans to be duo of the year, duet of the year, duo, and all of a sudden they get this award, and they shared it with us because they thought we would enjoy it. We did. We were so pleased. The Bridgmans were in Valdosta. They are so
deserving of Duet of the Year.
And they stepped up on stage against some pretty powerful competition, and they won. And that is awesome, awesome, awesome. So today we're going to share a little bit of the Bridgmans. Let me tell you about these two people. Never met, kinder, better.
Nope.
The best.
Exactly.
And he always says about Alicia, she's so kind and so sweet and so gentle. She steps on stage and that mouth opens and you're like, whoa, I did not know she could do that. So amazing. Yeah. Amazing. So congratulations to them.
They're both sweet and very special, and holds a very special place in my heart.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
Get online today, and if you are not on Facebook with them, go to Travis Bridgman or the Bridgmans and like what happened to them over the weekend, because they won something that they really, really deserved. We're going to go to the Bridgmans now. And then we're going to come back in a little bit. We're going to do some music by Matt Dibler and the Diplomats, because Jimmy Pearson also got an award a while back, and we haven't talked about that. You know, they are pioneers in the music business, and they deserve to be stepped up and applauded for what they have done to get gospel music to where it is today. It is still played every weekend around the roads, and you know, it takes a lot of fuel, takes a lot of time, takes a lot of patience to deal with all these long travels to do what the Bridgmans did. They drove 6.5 hours to get to Valdosta to spend the weekend down there, but it was well worth it. So these folks don't just get on a big jet plane with their personal pilot and fly and then be taken in a limousine. That ain't happening. These people are on buses and in their personal cars, and they're doing what they do because they love Southern gospel music. So right now, the Bridgmans.
They say for all Singers, listen to this verse. If some deed I have done, or some song I've sung, has helped some soul on the way, 'twill be worth it all just to see His face when we meet up in heaven someday. If there's a crown awaiting me, when at last my Savior I see, I will lay it down at my Savior's feet. If there's a crown for me, I will lay it down at my Savior's feet. If there's a crown for me. Weary bodies, troubled minds, they will defeat you every time. Circumstances all around may look dim, but even if you have to crawl, Jesus wants to hear it all. You will be alright if you can get to Him. When you don't feel like praying, pray. And when you think you just can't get through, pray. Precious to the Father's ear are three words, Lord, I'm here. When you don't feel like praying, pray. There's an altar just for you, and it only takes the two, just one humble heart and one holy lamb. Satan says you cannot pray, then God removes him from your way. Weak and broken, you can cry, Lord, here I am. When you don't feel like praying, pray. And when you think you just can't get through, pray. Precious to the Father's ear are three words, Lord, I'm here. When you don't feel like praying, pray. When it's hardest to pray, sweet victory awaits. When you don't feel like praying, pray.
Is that not the sweetest thing you ever saw? Such good folks. Duet of the year, and they so
So well
deserve it.
deserved.
They deserve
Yes.
it. They deserve it. Now I want to talk about something. I'm going to play a song in just a few minutes, and it's this is done with my little Sony camera, so it is not professional, and I'm warning you before you see it. But it's a great song that everybody should hear because, you know, sometimes in life things don't go your way, and you're just like, why did this happen? Why did this happen? Matt Diabler's brother lost his 3-year-old child, and she was playing out in the yard one day, and then she had a headache. She went to the hospital. She had a brain tumor, and she passed away within a week. We're going to have a benefit in this area at River's Edge Mountain RV for a little girl who survived a traumatic crash that took the life of her mom. And this is, it shows the pictures, and this is compliments of the Cherokee Scout.
And that is on 64,
It
just
is?
west of Murphy.
Not
Quarter
even
of a mile.
Yeah, just easy to find. River's Edge Mountain RV Resort. We have been there before. Beautiful, beautiful facility, but I love that he's giving back to the community. And this night, if you have an RV and you want to stay there, the 2-night package, Friday night and Saturday night, and get 2 tickets to this concert, you get the whole deal for $70. Or if you want to buy pre-concert tickets for $10 each, you can do that. And I'm going to give a phone number for you to call and get tickets. Or you can pay $15 at the door. The money is being raised for Lily Cash. Now, to look at the horrific crash that she survived and to see what's going on, this is a tribute to Elvis music. If you ever liked Elvis, and I'm one of these, I cried so hard when Elvis Presley died. I'll never forget it. I was over in Beaufort, Georgia, working an auction. And I was like working at this table, settling up people's bills, and they would come up to pay, and I would go, and I was just crying. They're like, "Hun, have some of your folks died?" No, Elvis died. They said, "Well, he died a week ago." I said, "You don't understand. I grew up with Elvis Presley music." If you like Elvis Presley music, this tribute is one of the best. And it's J. Harold Lee, Elvis tribute artist, with special guest Jimmy Stanley, Georgia Country Music Hall of Fame members Paul and Doyle Barker, Bobby Davis, and Donald Ray Lunsford. And we know Donald Ray from over in Copper Hill. And maybe a surprise guest. I don't know who it might be. Are you going to be there singing?
No, I don't think so.
Well, it says a surprise guest. You could be the surprise.
Well, who knows? It could be you. That
No,
would
it
be a
couldn't be.
surprise for sure.
Honey, that's shock, not a surprise. But this benefit is for a very special young lady. Her name is Lily Cash. You may know her. You may know the story. The daughter 6 remained in critical condition, and the community has planned several fundraisers for her. This is another one at River's Edge Mountain RV Resort. Tickets are $10 in advance, $15 at the gate. I'm going to give you 2 phone numbers to call to buy your tickets. 423-241-9000 or 828-361-4098. Now, this is something worth doing. But today, I happen to have some tickets I can give away. And I can give away compliments of the River's Edge Mountain RV Resort. Now, in order to do this, pay attention to the program. Because tonight, I'm going to give away 2 on Facebook. So if you're my Facebook friends, I will be posting a question after the 9 o'clock hour. It will be about something we've talked about today. And the first person to answer me gets 2 tickets. And then tomorrow, I'm actually going to do one. And I'm going to give you a phone number to call me after we come off the air. Because some people don't have Facebook. So it's not fair just to do Facebook.
And also, it would not be fair to not give them your Facebook name, whatever,
Right.
so that they, if they want to
Right.
try out to win one of those, they'll know where to go to.
Cherie, CHERIE, Martin, MARTIN. So if you're not one of my Facebook friends, then join us tonight. And I am, you know, I think it's important that this RV park is giving back, and to give him some credit for doing this. He's a Shriner. And he said that's where he learned to give back. Nobody gives back better than the Shriners do.
Also, let's go back to
Okay.
what you were saying about Elvis.
Oh, yes.
And you, what'd you say that you'd cried over him for how long after he had passed?
Forever, and I
Tell
couldn't
him-
help it.
Tell them the story about Dale Earnhardt.
When Dale Earnhardt died. Okay, I'm standing in Ingles grocery store, and I'm in front of this display, and it was a Nabisco crackers display. It was Oreo cookies and vanilla wafers. They were all his sponsors. And there's this beautiful display with Dale and Dale Jr. and somebody else. I can't remember the third driver. And I'm standing in front of it when I get the call that says, he died. He died. Well, I'm in the second row over in Ingles grocery store, and I just start boo-hooing and bawling, and people are stopping saying, Sugar, are you okay? Dale Earnhardt just died. So I kept looking at this display, and I thought, I've got to have that display to go with my collection. So I go to the store manager, and I said, Sir, could you sell me that? He said, Oh, I can't. It belongs to Nabisco. I said, Sir, you don't understand. He just died, and he's my favorite driver, and I really love him. And he said, Lady, I can't sell you the display. It holds cookies. And I said, what if I bought the cookies? He said, all those cookies? I said, yes. He said, you'd buy all those cookies? I said, I sure would. So I called my accountant and I said, can I write off all these cookies I'm fixing to donate to the pre-K at First Baptist Church? He said, sure you can. I said, all right, I'll take it. So I called one of my dispatchers. I said, bring me a truck. He said, what kind of truck? I said, bring me a big truck to Ingles. He said, what? I said, no, just bring your pickup truck and we'll fill it full. I bought all the Nabisco products off the shelves at the Ingles, but I got this display. Where is that display now?
I don't know where it is.
At Angela's. At Angela's. My child, I'm so proud of this. She hated NASCAR. She hated racing. She thought I was the biggest dummy for sitting every Sunday going boodin', 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 round and round. Now, she is the biggest Kyle Busch fan that's ever been.
Well, I've got a question for you.
What?
You was at the grocery store that particular race day. Why?
Because the race had ended and he had already wrecked, but he hadn't died.
Oh.
Yeah, and so I live
Well,
right
you
across the
did-
street from Ingles, so
I
didn't wait to hear the announcement.
But you didn't see the wreck.
I saw the wreck.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
I did
Yeah.
too. I remember that.
Yes,
yeah.
I saw the wreck, and it was like instilled in me forever. I saw that wreck, and I thought I've seen Rusty Wallace come out of worse wrecks. I've seen so many of them come out of worse wrecks. I never thought it would have killed him. But now let's tell about being
Well,
at
I'm
Gresham.
surprised you didn't head to North Carolina or wherever
I
the
did.
race was.
I did. I was up there the next
Where was
day
the
at
race
Dale
at?
Earnhardt Incorporated.
It was at Daytona, what?
It was.
Yeah.
But there was a memorial tribute at DEI. But let's tell about going to Gresham Motorsports Park. We're at Gresham Motorsports Park, and he's saying, he's got the camera, and we're doing a little of this, a little of that, and then all of a sudden, Mike Helton, who is the boss at NASCAR, is stepping out, and God, Dan Elliott says, I want you to meet Mike Helton. Well, all of a sudden, I'm just shaking because I'm like, this is the NASCAR man. I said, get the camera, there's Mike Helton. He said, who is that? Because you're not a big NASCAR fan, are you? When I watch NASCAR, he takes a nap. That's just the truth. But I am the biggest NASCAR fan, and the day Dale Earnhardt died, I cried for weeks. I didn't cry for days. I cried for weeks. And I put a thing on my mailbox that said, in memory of Dale Earnhardt, NASCAR's greatest driver ever. And people would ride by my house and honk and blow and wave. And it just, he was NASCAR's greatest driver ever. And yes, I do not deal well with death. So when Elvis died, I was a basket case. When Earnhardt died, I was a basket case. Couldn't help it. But yeah, they were legends.
And I have to say, you know how big of a Loretta Lynn fan I am.
Oh, y'all, I dread the day.
But I don't think that I am as big of a Loretta Lynn fan as you are a Dale Earnhardt, because I didn't have near the memorabilia. Of course, you had more money then.
Yeah.
And I guess might be why she ain't got mine today. I don't know.
She bought all that Dale Earnhardt memorabilia.
Yeah.
I bought lots of Oreo cookies.
Yeah.
But I do dread the day that Loretta Lynn passes away, because you have loved her forever.
Yeah.
Forever. And a lot of folks do. And I said, it's like Kitty Wells was one of my favorite first, and she's still here. Although her husband, Johnny Wright. Johnny Wright,
yeah.
he passed away.
Johnny Russell.
Let's say something about a song.
Yeah.
Okay, sing that song.
It's
funny, y'all. It's funny. He knows one line. Sing that song.
I'm a one-liner kind of fella. I guess you've noticed that. I just sing a line or two and quit. That's all I know.
All weekend long, we kept saying, this is a great song for the Barker Brothers to do. Sing that song.
Mama says, don't go near that river. Don't go hanging round no catfish, John. That's all I know of
Now,
it.
if y'all know the rest of it, send us the words, because we don't have a copy of it and we don't know the rest of it.
But it's a good song. And
It's a
true
good
story,
song.
ain't it?
Yes, it
Ain't
is.
there really was a catfish?
I believe there
song?
was. I
That they
believe there
called
was.
him catfish or something.
I believe there was. But we are going to learn that song. You'll either learn it or the Barker brothers will learn it, but it is a neat song.
I'd rather them learn it.
You would?
Yeah.
Well, you don't sometimes get what you want.
Yeah, that's
Well, we've got to do something. We have to take care of business. And then we're going to go to some music. And we're going to honor a family, the Diplomats, because Jimmy Pearson is one of those pioneers in gospel music. And we're going to honor him today. But right now, we are going to honor... where did I put it? Well... We're gonna go to music first, and we're gonna come back, and I'm gonna do this because I've got to dig through my papers. But we do have one obit today, and we want to say Townsend Rose Funeral Home is one of those first folks who came on board with us. And when we come back from music, we're gonna do one obit. It is all about what's happening in your community. We learned that on Saturday night when we went to this little community in Brasstown. That is about giving back to their community. That is about supplying $5 a night tickets for a concert that gives back to their community. And that's something that you really do here. We're going to go to some music where people are honoring somebody who gave back all of his life. Jimmy Pearson has been in gospel music over 40 years. The first song you're going to hear is about a very special little girl. Her name was Marie Beth Dibler. She died at 3 years old. And this song was written 3 hours after her funeral service by her dad. So sit back now and enjoy some music by Matt Dibler with the Diplomats, and then the Diplomats, and we're going to come back and do our sponsors.
Glad that we're here. Most of all, I'm glad the Lord's here. Glad that we have this opportunity to come to this auditorium and have a time where we can lift up the name of Jesus Christ, the name above every name. Several years ago, my brother had a beautiful little girl, and she was playing in the backyard, and her head began to hurt so bad that we had to rush her to the hospital. Of course, we thought at 3 years old and full of life that they'd just give her a little bit of medicine and just send her right on home and everything would be all right. What took place was 1 week and 2 days later, we followed a little white casket out to the graveyard, held that beautiful little girl. Doesn't matter how spiritual you are, doesn't matter how saved you think you are, that's a tough time. Hard to find words at a time like that, but my uncle helped preach the funeral that day, and he made this statement. To the Christian, the grave is not the end, it's resurrection ground. My brother went home, and then 2 hours later wrote the words to this song right here. This is not the end, it's resurrection ground. We gather together to say our goodbyes to our sweet little girl. Oh, how our hearts ached inside. Then we went to the place where they lowered her body down. Some call it a grave, I call it resurrection ground. We come here often to see where she lay. It doesn't seem so long ago she ran around and played. How sweet it would be if we were standing round when this cold grave turns to resurrection ground, resurrection ground. No more graves allowed. We'll meet her in the air. No more parting there. With Jesus we'll be for all eternity. This is not the end, it's resurrection ground. This verse right here is why we have that promise. They nailed our Lord to an old rugged tree. Satan thought he'd won the victory, but on that third and glorious day around that old tomb. It turned to resurrection ground. Resurrection ground. No more praise and love. We'll meet him in the air. No more parting there. With Jesus we'll be for all eternity. This is not the end. It's resurrection ground. This is not the end. It's resurrection
Wait just a minute, Michael. You know, my sweet little husband, he always makes sure that everybody's introduced. But today you're going to get introduced. Not too many weeks ago, we were honored to go to Greenville, South Carolina. And we were there for the Grand Old Gospel. And we were all surprised, but my husband, nobody knows the hard work that he's put into this group, this ministry, and just keeps pushing. I know he's pushed me a lot of times when I'd say, why are we going? You know, we get to places sometimes and you think, well, these people don't care. They don't care if we've traveled thousands of miles. But you know, when you see a lost soul, like we saw last Sunday, come to know the Lord, it's worth every mile. Yes, amen. Because it's not about us, it's all about Him. And when we lose focus off of the one that we sing about, then we need to stay home. And that's what I can say about Him. It's always been about the Lord. And I'm so thankful that He's put Him first through all these years. But my sweet husband was honored to get the Living Legend Award for Southern Gospel. Jimmy Pearson, make him welcome. Yes. I want you to listen to the words of this song. You know, there's so many people hurting today. Sickness, not having enough money. But you know what? The Lord knows all about it. All we got to do is lean on Him. Listen to the words. I can tell you all my troubles with expressions of grief. Seems that lately I've spent more time down on my knees. But I'm expecting any time now for the sun to break through those clouds. There's a blessing somewhere in this trial. There's a blessing somewhere in this trial. I'm expecting victory in just a little while. So I'll go on and I'll walk home, though I must travel many miles. There's a blessing somewhere in this crowd. You know, the Lord promises He'd never
Pearson, such dear friends. And one day we will tell y'all the story. They came to spend the night at my house one night, and it was a hoot. We don't have time for it today, but it is a good story. A lot of people in gospel music have heard it. They are such good folks. And you know, we have to say a thank you to Charlie Sexton, who came down to the singing at Friend Fest and brought his fiance, who happens to sing like Rita Pearson. And she stepped up on stage that day and sang, was it God Walks the Dark Hills?
It might have been. I don't remember.
I can't remember, but it's one of those great
Yeah.
songs. And if you had had your back turned and not known, you'd have thought Vestal had been reincarnated. So, yay. And congratulations to Jimmy again. That was done over at Hiawassee with my little bitty dirt cheap camera. But it does a pretty good job for something that didn't cost a whole lot of money and a lot of trouble. Now, we have sponsors. Do you want to talk about Subway? Where did we have supper Saturday
Well, I
night?
don't have my shirt billboard on today, so... But this'll do just as well.
That'll do just as well. And we went to Blairsville to one of my favorite Subways. Remember, the Subways from Hayesville, North Carolina to Waleska, Georgia are owned by Singleton Food Services. Ed is one of those guys who always gives back to his community. Very, very important. When you're out spending money at local businesses, think about the folks who do for your community. And he is one of those who does for the community. And we have some folks who came on board first off. When we first started doing this program, Townsend Rose Funeral Home came out immediately. We want to say a big shout out and a big thank you to them. They have been in business since 1933, family owned and operated, and that really matters. Call the folks that you know and trust at Townsend Rose Funeral Home at 828-837-2109.
And one of their benches was setting up at the community center at Brasstown.
Absolutely, it was. Now, we have one obit today, and this is Edna Louise Roy Bardwell, age 97, of Hayesville, North Carolina. And she passed away June the 6th, Clay County Care Center in Hayesville. She is a native of New York. And in lieu of flowers, they would like for you to make a memorial to a charity, your favorite charity, in memory of her. I think that is such a great idea. That is such a good idea. And Townsend Rose Funeral Home is in charge of the services. Graveside services and burial will be today at 1 o'clock, June 11th, at Mount Pleasant Cemetery in Hayesville, North Carolina. So remember that family in prayer. And we have a couple more community announcements. There's a lot to see and do during the June 1st walk. If this is one of those things. Now, this was on June 1st. But every single month they have this on the first Friday. And you can go out and see exhibits, and they're always downtown. And it brings you to downtown Murphy. Last night I posted pictures of a walk we took. And immediately on Facebook people were saying, oh, where is that? Well, can you tell folks how to get to the walk we took?
I figured you'd ask me that.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure if I can or not, but if you're going, I don't know where you're coming from. But if you go to the McDonald's, we plug the McDonald's here in
Yes.
Murphy a lot, don't we? Right on 64, right there at the light. If you're going east, you want to turn left at the light. If you're going west, you turn right at the light. And that'll take you around up into town. But when you cross the bridge, that's the Hiawassee River. When you cross the bridge, on the left is the Murphy Depot, train depot, and behind it is the little trail out through there. So go visit it sometime. You'll be glad you did.
Yeah, it is a nice evening walk on a cool evening. And I said it's funny because I am weird about snakes. So when we go on this walk last night, I have on sandals. And first of all, I'm thinking, okay, I'll be the one that the snake gets my toes. Well, we're walking right along, and it's so clean and manicured. They keep it up so well. Everything looks so good. We saw nothing. We didn't even see a skeeter. So y'all go out and take this walk, and you park right at the depot, and it's 2,600 feet, I believe the sign said, for the walk. Now, we didn't go all the way, but if you go all the way and you go up and then around to, what did they call that? The little walkway?
Boardwalk?
Yeah. Then there you go. You just keep a walking and keep a walking, then you can turn around and come back. Or I think you could head toward town and go walk downtown Murphy. But downtown Murphy is like Andrews. What a treasure. And you need to go by and see both these tiny towns. And if you're looking at opening a business, we've got some vacant buildings right here in Murphy. And I'll tell you what, you might think about that. Now we have another community announcement. The Cherokee County Board of Commissioners will hold a special meeting. This is a called meeting on June the 19th at 9 a.m. for a budget work session, following the public hearing on the 18th. let me tell you something about your budget. If your commissioner is taking care of business and doing a good job, you need to re-elect them. If they're not, you need to vote them out. And that is one of those things, we all have the right to vote, and we can clean house when it's time to. Pay attention to what's happening with your taxes, and then vote accordingly. Now, we also want to say we're on Local TV 4, and Local TV 4 is available to YouTube through Blue Ridge Mountain EMC. It's sad to say, but we're not available everywhere, but we are on live streaming. So if you have a computer, you can watch us on live streaming. If you don't have a computer and you don't have Local TV 4, and then I'm going to let you watch DirecTV, and you can call my buddy Andrew at 828-516-2111, and they will install your services that day. Now, this week is going to be an interesting week. Tomorrow I have a lady who's going to be on who had the same illness that Mary Anderson has. And it's about this long, and I wish I could say the word, but I can't. But she was faith healed at World Harvest Church up in Blairsville. She's going to be with us tomorrow, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Do you believe in faith healing? Do you believe in miracles? Possibly. Some people are skeptical, but she has the documented information to share this, and it blew my mind because all the lab work was documented that she had it, and then after a prayer and a session, she doesn't have it. So I guess you'll decide. What do you think?
Can you begin to pronounce it? Do you have any idea? Can you
No,
spell
but
it?
Shirley Singleton could call me and say that big word. It's about this big word.
What does it?
Myasthenias gravis. Is that close? I don't know. For all you doctors out there, don't you say a word. I don't know.
What does it affect?
Your basic, you know how Mary is drooping and just real tired and just a lot of things internally. But then it also, you know how her eyelids were drooping and you just look so tired. And that's one of those things. But it was documented through lab work. Or if you're a skeptic, you might not have believed it. But the lab work shows it, and the lab work that's been, shown now says that she doesn't. So it's kind of like when people started having fibromyalgia. How many people suffered with that stuff? And people would say, oh, it's in your head. It's in your head. No, it's in your body. It is in your body. My granddaughter, who is only 24, was diagnosed with that when she was about 17. And I kept saying, oh, that's the doctor's easy diagnosis because they can't come up with anything else. No, it's been documented. A lot of people really, really suffer from that. But it's one of those diagnoses that you're like, well, how do you know? If you have cancer cells, you know you have cancer. If you have Parkinson's, you know you have it. But this thing that Mary had and that this young lady had, it's kind of one of those that you're not sure, but then they document it. So it's interesting. And this week, I think, too, we're going to have the CEO from Murphy Hospital on. So it's going to be an educational week, possibly, because we're going to talk about the things that, when they said a miracle healing, I said, okay, all right, let's see what people think about that. Because I believe in miracles. I have a daughter who is an absolute miracle. And she's here for, the good Lord's got that girl here. Only reason. And then Angela is here, and maybe another miracle. It's strange, but you look at life and you think, well, do I really believe that? Well, if the documentation is there, you'd have to believe it. So, what you gonna do today? Drive in the rain?
Well, it looks like that I am.
It looks like we are. It's going to rain today. It's going to rain tomorrow. Wednesday, it's going to clear up, and we're going to be back into sunshiny days, and we're excited about that. There's something about these beautiful mountains. Even in the rain, they're pretty. So get out, and we tell everybody, we're going to tell you about a daycation you can do. Now, we were in Brasstown. We started out in Blairsville to Brasstown, Brasstown to Andrews, Andrews back to Murphy. Did we cover maybe 50 miles?
Yeah. You skipped Peachtree.
Peachtree, that's right.
You skipped Marble.
Marble, that's right. About a 50-mile trip, and it has been very enjoyable. It has been beautiful to see your scenery. It's been beautiful to see your rivers. And this walk across the street from us, y'all, it's in downtown Murphy. Just right downtown. Just park right here at the depot and get out, and you're like you're in another world. It's right on the river. It's absolutely gorgeous. And the path is clear and no growth for at least 10 feet on both sides. It's beautiful. Now, I walked the railroad track. And I'm going to ask you a question because this may be the question on the trivia tonight. What movie did a young man walk the railroad track and he lost his arm? Now, what was the young man's name? Betty.
That's not the trivia question.
Well, it might. No. What was the name of the movie?
That's so I'm supposed to tell you
Tell
the
me
name
his
of the movie.
name. No, tell me the young man's
Oh.
name.
Betty Threadgood Jr., ma'am.
Betty Threadgood Jr. and his daddy was married to a wonderful lady who was an excellent cook, and she was also very funny, wasn't she? Very good movie. Very good movie.
Yep.
Filmed here in Georgia.
And let's not forget Mr. Danny Nelson.
That's right. Our friend Danny Nelson that passed away about 1.5 years ago. He was such a great guy. Was he the judge in that movie?
He was Mr. Threadgood.
Oh, okay. That's right. That's right. What movie was he
Papa
the judge
Threadgood.
in? Yes.
He was a judge in maybe more than just this particular one, but I know he was a judge in A Son's Promise.
Right. That's right. That's
Yeah.
also another good local movie.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many. We found a building just right across the street here, and I put on Facebook last night. Movie producers, movie directors, you need to come to Murphy, North Carolina. We have got the setting right here in this gorgeous old warehouse that you could do a movie. If you watch movies today, you will see quite often that they are filmed in Georgia. They are filmed in the Carolinas. Georgia is working to be the #1 destination for movie production.
Yeah.
But when we saw this building over here, the building is
Yeah,
absolutely
they
beautiful.
don't need to be making those backdrops.
No.
They're-
Now we need to
they're
go to a
backdrops already
commercial.
here.
We need to go to a commercial before we go off the air. And this is a real quickie, but I've got to say a congratulations to Lonnie Fountain because he got 2nd place in the Big Cat Quest with Bass Pro Shops this weekend. Good job. Take a break, go to our commercials, and we'll be back to say something we don't say. What's that? Okay, we never
Oh.
say goodbye. We always say we'll see you later. Were you practicing your bye-byes?
I guess I was, yeah.
From Murphy, North Carolina and Local TV4, we hope you'll tune in again tomorrow. As always, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m., encore at 8 p.m. tonight. Be sure and tell your friends about these tickets we're going to give away. I will do a question tonight on Facebook, and then tomorrow or Wednesday I will ask another live question that you can call in. We're going to give these tickets away to help a young lady, Miss Lily Cash. Time to do it. We don't say goodbye. We'll say see you later. Only on the Cherie Show. What's your name?
Freddie Brackett.
That's
Ball
Freddy
Ground, Georgia.
Brackett, Ball Ground, Georgia. See you again tomorrow.
Have a good day.